Hey everyone, it's Book of Katherine. So I just wanted to talk to you guys today about the Dr. Phil. Well, one of the things I want to talk to you about today is the Dr. Phil show. It's actually something that the thing about women and pregnancy tests. Guys, like I feel like in my former life, the life where before I knew celebrities handle pregnancies, and because girls are always trying to say they're pregnant. People are always trying to say that like it's happening every day or whatever. So they handle things very, very differently. Before I knew how they handled things, I had to live life before that kind of knowledge and before that kind of they're lawyers, if that makes sense. They have this kind of like knowledge and database and lawyers and kind of the way they do things. Where people are a bit more willing to fight for themselves, if that makes sense. And it's not so much the celebrities that are willing to fight for themselves, but their managers. So, celebrities aren't necessarily the big fighters. It's their managers that are in a lot of cases. So, in the studios behind them. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about is that I've actually dealt with it a lot in my own personal life. I've actually seen a number of men in my life have women pull pregnancy scams on them, and I wanted to talk to you about that. I kept feeling like I'd be stupid if I brought it up with you because a lot of people would think, oh, I'm just making that up. Like, I'm just making up the fact that women are actually pulling pregnancy scams. But now I kind of like, God, because Dr. Phil's had so many women on that have faked pregnancies that I'm like, okay, and now today's show, today is, what is it, February 5th, 2020. Today's show, he actually says he has a girl on, and it actually admits that there's a company out there that will fake the sonogram with the name and date on it. So, because what you used to be able to tell if it's fake is if they'd send you a sonogram and it didn't have their name on it. Well, now there's a company that will send you they'll fake the name on it and fake the name on it for the girls. There are that many girls doing it. And pregnancy is just such a big scam that women know so much. There's so many women who have been midwives or were the daughter of midwives, know all the terminology that can go into it. It is such an easy way to milk people for not just money, but if a boy's going to break up with them, once they break up, and that's the way I saw it every single time that it happened in my life. The guy was breaking up with the girl and she'd hit him with, oh, I'm pregnant. And it even happened to one guy. I even saw one guy go through it and they hadn't actually had sex. They were in that weird, it was a friend of a friend, and the kid they were kids in this Christian college, and they were doing that kind of bumping thing. Like, I had to find out because the parents were like freaking out or whatever. And I was like, are you kidding? I was online enough, and I was, I guess, in the creative community enough, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I was like, let me look at this thing. And I looked at the picture. She sent him a picture of a positive pregnancy test. And I looked at it. It was like page 13 of the results, but there it was. She had just cropped it a little bit. But page 13 of Google image results, there was the little thing, and it was on some lady's blog from 2000 and whatever. And it was just sitting there, and it wasn't hers at all. And of course, then I said, and the guy was like, well, what do I do now? Like, okay, like, I can see it. Do I just say you lied? Because then no one, and they did. He was like, yeah, I found it or whatever. And then no one believed her. Like, no one believed that she had done that or whatever. And of course, they were young. They were in college, and they were in this, like, Christians never, ever lie or whatever. I don't really understand that community or whatever. But what had happened was, like, even though they did the skin bumping thing, there was this fear that they could collect. I don't understand all that stuff. But anyway, so it can happen to anyone, even if you don't have sex. These girls are willing to say, like, oh, I collected the sperm, like, even if you did something separately. So I've seen everything. And what I've done in every single situation, I've always recommended, because everyone just gets scared and goes with the girl. I don't know why it happens. As you saw in Dr. Phil, they just go with the girl. They just go with the liar. And I'm just like, this is what I say to every single one of the men. And I just say, that's great. I don't say, oh, I'm doubting you. I don't go into that at all. I just go, that's so great. I can't wait to go to the sonogram with you. I can't wait to go to the ultrasound with you. Let's go. That's what you do. That's what you do 100 out of 100 times. You just say, this is this is great news. Book it. Let's go to the, I want to see. Like, book it. Book, let's go to the next sonogram. Can we book it next week? I want to see. I can't wait to do this. Let's do this. And be like, I am all in. Let's go see the sonogram and go be there and be like, I want to be there and I want to hold your hand. And that'll do it. And I swear to God, like in the everyone I've done that with, it's amazing because the girl loses the pregnancy like the day before the appointment. Every single time, honey, it's happened. Every single time. Every single time the girl magically loses it. I've heard a few very, very interesting different types of things, from septic to like something detached. I can't even remember. It's been too long now. But there's all these fascinating things these girls know about how they can lose a baby today. And it's awful. I mean, it just shows we're such a pervasive and lying. I think it shows how spoiled we are as a culture if that's how we so want it. Like if we, it literally is a pout. It literally is a pout, because every girl I've seen, and you can even see it, like this girl's like, well, I want you and I don't get your attention. So I'm going to pretend I have a baby. To get what I want. I'm not getting what I want. So I'm going to do this. And I'm just like, wow, you're so lucky you don't live in China. Wow, you're so lucky you don't live in India. Like, wow, you're so lucky you don't live south of the border where men are just hacking at women. You know what I mean? Like, wow, you're so pampered to live here. I can't believe people complain about not having their mother or father's love. Move on. I don't have my mother or father's love. Neither did any of the people who went and founded America. They went, peace out, they left, they all founded an entire country. This entire nation was founded by people who said, bye-bye, mama, bye-bye, dada, and they did just fine. You ain't needing your mama and dada's love. Whoever told you that? I know Dr. Phil tells you that, but it ain't going to solve your life problems. I don't know who told you that if daddy loves you enough that you will do just fine. I don't know who told you if mommy loves you enough you'll do just fine. Everyone today seems like they want to crawl back up in their mama's vagina. What the hell? There ain't no comfort in there. She's just another human being like you. And she wouldn't get anything if she crawled up in some other bit of JJ. It ain't going to happen. The answers ain't in somebody's womb. The answers ain't there. The answers to life are not in our parents. I don't know who told you that it is. You know, we seem to know that. We seem to know that as a country when we started. I'm learning that. Like, this entire nation was founded on freedom. And everyone seems to doesn't want freedom. They want to be latched onto their parents for life. And I'm just like, nope. No, they all seem to not just, maybe it's just they don't want to grow up. And so, like, if breaking up does require you to grow up, breaking up requires you to hear somebody else's no. It is boundaries. It's someone setting a boundary and saying, I end here. I end here. And a lot of girls are like, no, I want to be inside. And guys are like, no, I end here. We are two separate people. And girls are like, no, we're not. No, we're not. I want to invade you. And that's very interesting that I'm noticing on Dr. Phil. Every time you see a violent man, have you noticed how invasive the women are around the guy? When the guy's like, have you noticed there's always a gaggle of women like right here going, and I'm like, I'd be like, wah! As well. I'm like, I bet you he wouldn't freaking touch a thing if all these women that are like, would just go away and disengage and walk away. Have you guys ever seen a video of a guy hit something when the women have walked away? Two to tango, detach, grow up on our own, whatever. So, and I wanted to say that the girl said that she doesn't have a choice in the matter. She's like, oh, I don't have a choice in the matter. I have no choice in the matter with lying. It's just habitual. And I really want to say to that point, like, there is a choice. I have learned this the hard way through my pain, through my chronic pain. If you look at the comparative pain scale, look up the comparative pain scale to learn about pain, to truly learn about what pain is and how it affects your brain, how it affects, when you hear about people and talk about pain, and when someone tells you they're in pain, find out if they're really in pain by reading that chronic pain scale and find out just how much pain they're in, because that will tell you how it's supposed to affect their mind and their body. So, like, pain will slur my speech. It will knock out my brain. I'll have memory lapses. It'll do all these things to me, and it'll completely disable me. But that's the point, is that that kind of pain can make you highly abusive to the people around you. It can just make you lose your mind, and make you get off center. And like, if I can't reach a bottle, like if my husband says something and he's just like, well, did you take your pills? And I'm just kind of like, are you like, sometimes I am in so much pain that I'm kind of like, do you really think I can remember taking my pills right now? Like, you think my brain's even functioning at that level right now? I can't even turn over. Like, dude, he can't see what pain I'm in. He can't see it. One moment I'm up like this, the next moment I'm like this. And he can't tell. So it's frustrating for him. I go catatonic to up to verbal to not, like, and we're learning it's these episodes, they can come on, and it's very hard to communicate with him. But the thing is that he doesn't know what it's like to be cattle prodded. He doesn't know what that's like. He doesn't know what it's like to be like, and to be tortured at that long of a length of time. And he's being tortured in a different way, of having to take up the load of like always getting me my meds, always making my meals, he's being tortured in another way. We have both had to learn how to make choices to not put, when you're in that kind of tremendous pain, I've learned, okay, let me put it this way. I end up, like, when I call friends and I'm crying or something like that, there have been times where they're like, oh, like, is it your husband's fault? Or nurses will say, is it your husband's fault? They'll turn, and I have had to be like, because of the pain, this is true. You've heard it. You take it out on the person closest to you. It is not in our nature to say it's my fault. It's not in our nature to say, it's not in our nature. Our little kids, we have to train our kids since we are a little kid, since we're a little baby, we have to train our kids to take responsibility for their mistakes or their actions or what happens. And being in chronic pain and being zapped and being tortured, they'll tell you that. They'll tell you that it returns you to a childlike state. And it's been very, very I feel very childlike a lot of times. And when I feel childlike, I want to be like, meh. I want to be like, it's his fault. It's he should do it all. He should just, meh. But then when I hear my friends be like, is it his, there's this like outer voice that's like, are you joking? Like, the saint? Not that he's not a saint. He's human just like I am. But he's superhuman in so many ways. He's superhuman in his patience. And I know that I'm abnormal in my patience. But that takes both of us trying to really work at it. Does that make sense? We both have to really make choices. We both have to really catch ourselves and make sure we're good to each other and fair, being really fair. So I have had to catch myself when I'm in like rages of pain. And I have learned as I'm in rages of pain, of like huge rages, of like really having to sit there and like realize the consequences of telling my friends that it's my husband, like, and being like, is that really it? Is that, and knowing that it's not, but really, really wanting to, because it's just easier to say that way. But realizing the consequences of it would be so devastating and so unfair, but you really don't want to take it on yourself because it's just like, you feel like it's so unfair, that life's that unfair. You don't want to take it on to yourself because you're just like, just tired of being in that much pain. And you don't want to grow up that much and have to shoulder that much pain. You don't want life to be that much of a burden. You don't want it to be that tough. It's easier to be childlike than be adult. And I've had to make those rough decisions. And be like, I've had to make really, 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 I've had to take my brain and I've had to fight the chemicals in my head to be like, what's real? What's real through the pain and being like, what's real? What's me? What's him? What's reality? What's fair? And like, if it wasn't me, if I was looking on an outside situation, I'm just like, it's not, this is the way, no, like, I am pouting. And that's hard. Because you get really pouty sometimes because pain can make your world this small. But what I've come to realize is that even though her pain can be that bad from whatever trauma she's been through, whatever it is, I've realized I can be at a level 10 pain, but I've realized I'm still making a choice because I have learned I can choose the other way. I've just sat there and been like, oh my God, I'm choosing. And when I finally choose, like, what's reality, and I'm like, no, this is actually, and I take the blame, I take what's my part, I take my blame. It calmed down. I'm like, right, this is reality, this is reality, this is reality. And I become an adult again. In a way, I become myself again. And that's kind of how I've been digging my way out of, I've been healing and getting better in chronic pain, coming back to myself. But that's been through choices. And I have learned that you can be in the most torturous amount of pain and you're still making choices. You can have your chemicals flood your brain. You can be in the highest thing of hormones and you can be in the biggest rages. You're still making a choice. We always make a choice. It may not feel like it, but if you really stop, but you gotta be brave, but if you really stop, you're making a choice. If someone tells you they can't help it, they're just not trying very hard. Maybe no one's taught them how or something, but they're just not trying very hard. We humans have the ability to choose. That's what makes us different from animals, is that we choose every move we make. It's just when we're abused, it becomes easier to make unhealthy decisions for ourselves, but we still choose it. Our parents don't have shackles on our legs. It's just easier to follow them. When we stay close to the family, we're still choosing it. They're not making us. We still choose to stay in an abusive relationship. Yes, maybe our brains are wired a little differently. It's still choice. It's still a choice every time we take a drug and we're addicts. We're still choosing because what we do when we're an addict, what do we have to learn? We learn that in that moment, we learn that we have a choice every single day. Like that's what helped me with my addiction. I had to learn choices. Every time the strong urge for my addiction came up, every time the strong urge, like it would just come on so strong and I would just have to be like, all I have to survive is this moment. All I have to survive is this moment. I'm not going to think about all my moments in the future. I'm only going to think about this moment. All I have to survive is now. And I'd only focus on that moment and I'd focus on making a choice in that moment. Not even the moment 2 minutes ahead. I'd be like, I'll deal with 2 minutes ahead when it comes. All I need to deal with is this moment now. And I'd totally focus on that choice right then and there. But even that was a choice. And I ended up doing it enough where that enough choices burnt a new thing of neurons in my head where it just is, those powerful things don't come on me like that. Like they used to. It's not like I have to, it's still a choice, but it's not like that big, huge, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through this one moment? It's not like that anymore. It's easier for me not to even think about, like, my mind just kind of veers away from it when I get near the topic. I just kind of, my mind kind of just is able to just kind of go around it and just know, like, danger zone. It just kind of goes wide and it just goes around the unit and leaves the damaged area behind. That's choices that did that. We have unique and powerful minds. All right, so men, just protect yourselves. Know that women are highly trained and highly adept in that. If she sends you a picture take that picture and do a Google image search of it. Just take it and pop it into Google image search. You can search it that way. But you don't have to confront her head on. Just always say, let's go. Cool. Let's go to did you notice her parents just said, oh, I believe the thing. I had no reason not to believe her. Yeah, you did. You had 8 things. They love the drama. Did you see how awful they were? Like how much they love the drama of we're going to announce it on Dr. Phil to the family. That was a horrible thing to do to their family. Dr. Phil was like, call them ahead. Don't let them find out this way. And they're like, no, isn't this a great way? Any family that's like that does enjoy the drama and kind of kick it up. And they kind of kick that girl. You can kind of tell she's kind of the black sheep. And so the girl plays the black sheep. She plays out for them. And they like that. That's who she does it for them or whatever. And she just needs to get out. She does not fit with that family. That family will never, there's a reason that she naturally leaves. When she's in the family, she does not naturally feel like she's welcome there. You're right. Get the boots are made for walking out on you. Boots are made for walking. What is that song? Yeah. So walk on out. I mean, that's when you are in a family household and you notice that you kind of avoid the family. It's usually that's some kind of alcoholic system or whatever, and then you're the out or whatever. That's typical of that when there's a system and then there's one dry alcohol system or whatever. Research alcoholic systems, not on the internet. Get some books at the library, please. Or order some books online, medical books from pre-92, pre-95. Anyway, so go ahead and do that. And, that's a hint to leave and go out on your own. And that's when you'll really become strong. I mean, my husband and I certainly did. Gosh darn. I mean, Jordan Peterson was saying, if you don't want to drink, you have to find another adventure. And I was just like, my life is an adventure. You can. I can't tell you the number of adventures I've lived. I lived adventures before I even, met, I'd already met a bunch of, but before I had my tight circle, I had a set of insiders that we were meeting on a regular basis. Before I had a regular basis of a close group where we were watching movies together. Yeah, I had done some serious craziness. So, you'd be amazed. I mean, just think about it. We used to be on these big ships out on the open sea without electricity. We survived that. We sailed all around the globe multiple times. Traded. We're incredible. Incredible things you can do. So go do it. Love you guys. Bye. Don't be a sucker. And don't put your hands up when they say put a gun up. That's like, here, shoot me in the belly. This is where I am. That's just Nazi programming from the movies. We're learning about that. And don't think that I'm a conspiracy theorist on that. I'm sorry, but I've been researching. Look up Hans Hinkler. Hans Hinkler from the Nazi Germans. OMG, Hans Hinkler. And it's so great that we have a Hans Olaf Hinkler in the EU, an MEP. Bravo, EU, working for the German Family Association. Learn that Hyatt was a German family name. Oh, it just keeps on getting better. Boots are made for walking. Walk on out on you. Love you. Please donate down below. $1 a month gets us by. You guys are like, oh, there's 2 billion users. You're like, oh, people really don't donate. You're right. They really don't. Everyone's like, oh, somebody else must be donating. No. So every once in a while, someone's like, oh, I might actually click that. They're just feeling like it that day, and then it ends up working out. So, yeah, if you could please donate, that would really let it be your day, please. Please let it be your day to just donate $1. Please, you spend a whole lot more than that on coffee. Think about it. All right, love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you next time. Mwah! I love you so much. Bye.